Greetings on this Palm Sunday. I hope that you're having a wonderful day of worship thus far. We're still in the Gospel of Luke, looking at Jesus' last week of life before the crucifixion, the Passion Week, where he is passionately imparting to the people of Jerusalem, to his disciples, the people that he loves, the things he thinks are vital for them to know. Purity of worship, the reality of judgment, the hope of the resurrection, reasons to have confidence in the midst of trials, and what we'll look at today, the true dynamics of living life well. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about the path to glory. We have a tendency to think glory comes from accomplishment, of being the best, the one who triumphs over others, that it's bestowed upon us and comes and fills us. But Jesus, in this most intimate moment with his disciples, the Last Supper, tells them something quite different. And the question for us all is, can we receive that message? Luke chapter 22, beginning in verse 14. And when the hour came, he reclined at table, and the apostles with him. And he said to them, I have earnestly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I tell you, I will not eat it until it is fulfilled in the kingdom of God. And he took a cup, and when he had given thanks, he said, Take this and divide it among yourselves. For I tell you that from now on I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes. And he took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. And likewise the cup, after they had eaten, saying, This cup that is poured out for you is the new covenant in my blood. But behold, the hand of him who betrays me is with me on the table. For the Son of Man goes as it has been determined, but woe to that man by whom he is betrayed. And they began to question one another, which of them it could be who was going to do this. A dispute also arose among them as to which of them was to be regarded as the greatest. And he said to them, The kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and those in authority over them, and are called benefactors. But not so with you. Rather, let the greatest among you become as the youngest, and the leader as the one who serves. For who is the greater, one who reclines at table, or one who serves? Is it not the one who reclines at table? But I am among you as the one who serves. You are those who have stayed with me in my trials, and I assign to you, as my Father assigned to me, a kingdom, that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, there's a lot in this passage. We're only going to focus on one or two things. Jesus is about to go to the cross, about to be arrested, face trial, and suffer. And he's seeking to find respite, a break, in fellowship with his friends before all that happens. And what do? Well, they hear that someone's going to betray them, and as they discuss that, instead of focusing on the fact that someone is going to be the worst among them, they begin to fight about who is really the best among them, who is the greatest. Greatest, not in the sense of the way we think of the greatest basketball player, the greatest quarterback, but greatest in the sense, who is the one that has the highest position of authority, who will have the closest seat to Jesus at the table in the coming kingdom. And Jesus points out that they're not understanding glory and greatness at all. It's not as painful as the coming betrayal of Judas, but it had to be disappointing for Jesus. At the very end, they're still struggling with the idea of humility, of understanding what true glory is. They think it comes from achievement or from a high position bestowed upon them from the outside. But the thing is, glory doesn't come like that. It comes from pouring yourself out. Humility, service, sacrifice. These are the things that Jesus embodied. This is what Jesus is about to do in going to the cross. Sadly, modern ideas of leadership haven't changed that much from the ancient ones. I was reading a quote from a sports writer and humorist from the 90s, a gentleman named Louis Grizzard, and he said this: "Life is like a dog sled team. If you ain't the lead dog, the scenery never changes." Not a particularly flattering picture of what it means to follow, not an attractive picture of what it means to be outside of leadership. So we scratch and we claw our way to a place of accomplishment, to leadership, and in the process we may become powerful, but we also become ugly. There's a saying, never meet your heroes, and I have to agree with it. We can think of people who are top of their field, the greatest in their field: Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Michael Jordan. They also happen to be famous jerks. And my personal hero, Captain Kirk, William Shatner, he had earned the nickname among his co-stars as Captain Jerk. And to a certain degree, I believe it. I happened to bump into William Shatner at an airport in Cincinnati, and I recognized him. And when he saw me from across the room, lock eyes with him, he knew that I recognized him, and he gave me this death stare. "Don't you dare come near me." Leadership. We tend to think it makes us entitled. We get to be in charge. We get to set the rules, and everyone else has to obey. And Jesus points out the irony of these people being called benefactors. People who compete and claw for positions of power abuse that power. Again, they feel entitled. But the one who gives himself or herself away, only these kinds of people can be trusted with authority. Authority doesn't bestow glory upon them. When people have this character, they are already glorious. When you lead from humility, only when you no longer have some driving desire to be great, only then can you be entrusted to have authority, because true glory is found only in humility. Blessings on you all this Palm Sunday.